fat joke. Hello.
I was reading a fat joke.
Fat joke?
Yeah, it's a fat joke.
What do you mean? I didn't tell a fat joke.
You were talking about fat. I didn't get to finish reading it.
It wasn't a joke though.
Yeah. You called you fat.
No one. It was a little cartoon post that was sent to me on Facebook.
Oh.
It's just a little fat, you know. Fat ain't good for you. We know it's not good to be really fat, but you know, when your body says, I can't do anything, my body doesn't work right anymore. Like right now, my left leg is entirely numb.
Why? You're sitting on it?
It's like feeling extremely numb, huh?
Are you sitting on it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice and warm.
Of course, I guess that doesn't make good sense. Like, you can't sit on your ass. It's not normal for a human not to be able to sit on their ass. Especially if they're on like a cushion or something. Humans are usually able, because of the way that the geometry of their cellular stuff works, they should be able to sit on their ass without their ass and or entire leg going down.
Rich people are the creators of poor people. Read it down.
Yeah, typically rich people are the creators of poor people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you see? They want a lot of money, and then they want people to work for them, but they pay them very little. Don't you see how that works?
But you can't get a job from a poor person.
Huh?
They're afraid if they pay you a lot, you'll be able to pay somebody else.
Yeah, see, that's what it is. It's called a slave system.
I know, or the Egyptian system, Bible days.
You can go all throughout history and time and put all the pieces together and run the English language through the sorting machine, and you learn what you learn is that this system is entirely about how certain people become basically the controllers of the world. They sit around and they freeload off of poor people who do a bunch of things. They also falsely accuse poor people. They'll beat you down with crime and evil, and they'll poison your food because you're poor. Karen, they've done everything against someone who they just don't simply care about, or they don't like, or any variety of derogatory negativity toward another human being that they might have in any form or whatever, any lawful act. Okay? Which means that the world just simply doesn't care about other people that they don't care about or they don't like. It's for any reason. It doesn't really have to make any sense. There doesn't have to be any evidence for it. They think that simply that what they can do to other people for no reason at all is totally destroy them just because. It doesn't matter. This is what they do. They totally use, abuse, and absorb the life off this earth and just call it done. You know, they're extremely evil people that don't want you to benefit from life at all. Right?
Yeah.
This is what they're doing. Many people can't actually see it. That they're being used, abused, controlled, dictated, lied to, poisoned, murdered by all these people that think they are the law, the higher ups, the rich, the wealthy. They create some dumb piece of shit in the world that isn't really all that special, and suddenly they think they're rich. Because the world allows it. They buy into it. And it's a temporary thing that causes just more problems a lot of the time. That's why I told you earlier that we should go communist, which means we can eliminate all these criminal pieces of junk everywhere. And then the world could have equality. In communism, the world would probably have equality. Unless you use communism inappropriately. It depends on the law that you make. You honestly have to want equality before it'll ever happen. Okay, you also have to do integrity. You have to have integrity before it ever happens. However, if it gets taken away from you, then you have to try to fight for it back. Integrity is the name of the game. You have no integrity, the result is that you weren't really integral.
She really believes that they got tapes in them or not.
You got what?
They're videotaping us.
Probably. Yeah, they probably are. You know it? Yeah. It's a mass. They already declared that there was mass surveillance.
I knew that from TBN.
Whether or not they
about the polls and everything on the polls.
Whether or not they have anybody to man the monitors or not, there's supposedly mass surveillance.
Yeah.
The only thing is they don't really know how to get enough people to monitor for mass surveillance. What good is it for a dumbass robot to find you guilty of a crime if there's no man to act out what the robot knows?
Yeah.
Stupid robot, listen, a stupid robot with no arms and no legs and no weapons and no affliction is not a robot you should be worried about.
Robot with a big mouth.
Why?
It would tell the cops.
That's what it is. If it tells the cops, then
Daddy said she thinks they're writing books about us.
no, what they're doing is they're robbing all of these people. They're robbing you blind so they can make a fortune off of you. They're using you like a McDonald's sandwich.
Did you
Okay?
scratch? Hey, be honest. Did you scratch my rocking chair a little bit?
No, I didn't. This is what people.
Scratched in a spot.
Okay, don't accuse me of scratching your rocking chair. I
It
didn't do
hit
it.
my hash down.
Okay, I didn't. But anyway, they use you like a piece of food. Society has redeemed food as being a really inexpensive thing, but that is troubling because a lot of people don't have any room to grow enough food to even come close to survival.
I told you I was saying the same thing.
They made it expensive.
Because it's going to go out the roof, the prices, and it's going to be less on the shelves.
They made it pretty expensive, but they made it inexpensive food is expensive because it's such a hard to come by thing for a lot of people in the world.
Yeah, it's expensive now. And Sandy said Western was in Alaska today.
This is what they're doing. When they start hiking food prices, that means they're really sucking the life out of the poor people.
What do you spend it on defense? Not defense, offense.
They think this obesity thing, they look at it so he's fat. He must be eating too much. No, maybe you don't understand what the struggles really are, you retarded sons of bitches. Okay, because you gotta do a little medical research, you moron. Like I'd like to challenge Donald Trump to an intelligence test. He's the kind of person that I'd like to attack pretty frequently. Okay? Like, I wouldn't just attack those kind of people, I would murder them. Because the way I've seen them act and behave on television, especially like these fake lawyers and these government people, they honestly are the dumbest motherfuckers about reality and life. Like, as far as real life goes, and how we operate as human beings, the government doesn't have a clue about how that really works.
If they're taping us, as they do.
Most of the government who gets their harebrained ideas are fools who do things that harm everyone. Okay? Before they ever think anything through and actually scientifically, robustly plot doing anything in the government, they come out with a harebrained idea that ends up fucking everybody over, and there's a million lawsuits per who knows what, everywhere. Lawsuits everywhere. This is all what history was entirely. Just a bunch of evil lawlessness. Okay? It was just stupidity entirely. That's what it'll continue to be until they actually sit down and become optimists. Okay? An optimist is somebody who wants something to be very perfectly ideal. That means that they jump all this bogus shit that's a half-wit idea that actually causes more problems than it fixes. Okay? And they make things that cause these problems just because they're looking for money, okay?
I'm not an optimist. An optimist is somebody that looks at the bright side of things.
No, an optimist. No, I didn't say an optimist. I said, well, no, yes, I did. That's not what I meant. An optimist pertains to optimum. Okay, optimism is positivity. Anything that's optimum is like is most beneficial, the best of the best. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. If you're looking for something that's optimum, that means this is best quality, best idea, the most positive thing you can do. Okay? When you refer to something in the world that just doesn't cut it, and it pretty well doesn't work, you need to rethink your materials, products, and or services. Okay, that's like this. If I was going to have a bicycle tire, I was simply going to make it out of, some balsa. Hold on, how about you listen first? If I was simply going to make a bicycle tire out of some balsa wood, and I rode about maybe 2 feet, and suddenly that balsa wood just shattered and crumbled, it wouldn't be a good bicycle tire now, would it? Like if you got on your bike and started riding it down the street, okay, to lose that extra fat you have from your extremely evil spinal condition and your very bad poisoned body that is falling apart and broken from the government essentially and dumb things that I may or you may have done. But anyone can make mistakes all the time. Huh? How did I ruin your body? I didn't force anything on you.
I
may have suggested it. I may have suggested it. And they talk a lot about this nowadays. That we can't even give advice or suggest anything because it just means that we were wrong. Because oftentimes we think we know something we don't really know. Okay? If we do enough robust research, and it could take, like, I don't know, tons of years, if not infinity, for a lot of this shit to actually be figured out. And what it leads to is that we're ignorant as human beings, and it pertains to our bodies. Our law in the world, it solely focuses on the core object most of the time, and that's human being. Law revolves, all law and science and everything that we do is cored directly as a human being, okay? And that means that humans are the center of everything. Well, problem is they're not very really accurate with all this. And not only that, time has elapsed in science only a short while. And that means that the human world doesn't just automatically know how science really works. You have to plot it, plan it, figure it. You have to take every tiny little detail into account and sit and sort it all out. It is a critical process. It is something that you sit and you fucking dwell on like a madman scratching a fucking satanic devil's back who's about to annihilate the planet. You know, it's like just shit you gotta do in order to figure out how things really work and how to make it so that it works correctly and to know what it does. Right?
I guess I am, man.
I've actually come up with a new reason, if you will, why the world is such an erroneous place. It's directly quantum physics. Directly quantum physics. They have totally told the world lies all over the place. They made assumptions. This is not scientific. Okay? There are several things they lied about. They fully couldn't handle themselves scientifically. They just blabbed a bunch of baloney everywhere. I mean, it's selling baloney is what it is. They want you to feel happy and proud that you have the answer and the solution so they can get you to the store to sell you a bunch of salty baloney.
You don't have to choose money over.
Love?
It does. It's like, so you can't have anything else, but if they don't need the money, it's the manpower.
Manpower?
Yeah.
They'll tell you anything to get you power up. Tell you anything to get you power up. But they just don't seem to show you how to make your own power. Why not? You know, they say teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime, right? Well, they're not doing that now. They don't teach people how to do anything. They just say, here, do this. Slave, work for me. If you do this...
Did you see that picture of that guy I put in?
What?
That's what you used to look like.
What guy? Who? What?
I sent you a picture.
Was it some big fat fucker?
Well...
Who was it?
I don't know his name. Sandy sent it to me.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I sent you a picture.
I don't know. Is it a link to a picture or is it an actual picture?
It's a link to a picture.
Okay, you need to know the difference between a picture and a link to a picture. Totally different thing.
I only sent you two
You
things.
didn't actually send me a picture. That's why I didn't see it. You sent me a link.
Okay. That's what you're going to use.
Okay, I will eventually.
Send that to that girl and say you were fat.
No girl said I was fat. I don't give a fuck if they said I was fat. I know I'm fat. Fuck you. I don't care. This is much deeper than don't eat that.
You know what you always say? You say this, Joe. Say, what's that saying that I used to say? That's where it's at.
No, that's not a good excuse.
Yes, it is.
No, really.
Yeah.
Actually, it is a lot of fat. A lot of problems with fat is don't eat that. Yes, I mean honestly, the rule of thumb is if there's a container that is being accused of having something in it that isn't supposed to be there, as long as you don't put it in the container, it won't be there. Does that make sense?
I guess depends on what you put in it.
If I said it was a crime to put milk in this container that I have, and someone puts milk in it, then therefore it is criminal because they put milk in it and it's obviously in the container. So it wouldn't be a crime of any kind if you don't put milk in the container. Makes good sense, right?
Yeah.
So anything that's a crime that you put in your body, if you don't put it in there, it won't be a crime. Right?
Right.
That's where it all starts, is putting it someplace that doesn't belong. Like I told you before, this is all entirely about moving geometry around.
Yeah.
How we do that in all of the ways that we do. Communications even. How we communicate or understand or knowledge or how we affect the world geometrically. In all its forms. What?
These books didn't get sent. Like, I didn't order them. It's not on Amazon. It's not on Walmart. And the guy at Amazon said somebody else wants to sell them to me, but my kids wouldn't send me them. I don't know where they came from.
Okay.
The name for you?
What is it?
It says turning a everyday conversation into gospel. It's Christian books.
I don't know about this. That's Christians. Yeah, okay, I don't know about this. Whatever.
It doesn't say they're wrong.
Honestly, what I discovered about the religion of these so-called Christians is that they were poisonous spiritually. I no longer support religion. I'm not going to support any of that magic bullshit. Because that's all it is. That's all it is. It's fake magic bullshit. And yeah, were there pretty cool little moral values all throughout the Holy Bible? Of course. But does that mean that it's valid as a state of like the God status or the deityism? Or any of these things that pertain to like beings beyond who knows what? Does that validate anything realistically? And are there things happening that are very strange? And actually, is there a theory that is what I'm going to lay down as the trump card to the God world, so to speak? And the way I look at it physically from this perspective is that the world is actually about what is human and what isn't, and what is, honestly, because of religion, what is godly, or how does all that God deityism play a role in our so-called physical world that pertains to the geometry of things. Now that we're also discovering another kind of theory is that the world could be a fictitious simulation in some type of machine or some type of creature or some type of being or even a real fictitious matrix, a real fictional matrix.
I like for entity is only an all-knowing, loving God, more than any of this that you just put out there.
Yeah, you like that thing? You kind of you're looking for an all-loving, all-knowing God? Is that what you want? That's what you want out of life? Is that what you're saying?
Personal and great.
Well, here's the thing. Let me explain something to you.
What?
Let me explain something to you. What if there was a book written that gave you the power and the knowledge? Well, first initially the knowledge to do whatever you wanted in your world.
Like get younger?
Yeah, like how to cure everything in your life, how to fix everything. Honestly, you may even might even have the tools to do it, ready to go. You just have to go push a few buttons.
Yeah.
What would you think if that book itself had all the power that you could have for yourself in your world, and you could just simply read that book and you yourself were God? But honestly, you weren't such a God that you had the most omnipotent power. Okay? So, you had a level of power where you can make everything almost perpetual, probably perpetual, in your world. Let's say that you can control every particle in the solar system. And you could make it into an almost magical place. Does that mean that you're actually God if you have to do this with a scientific material, if you will?
Is that what you're trying to do?
No. Well, yeah, I hope the world reaches that point. That don't mean it will, but I would like to see the people of this world have the ability to basically make their world perpetual. I believe that perpetuality is a thing. It's just how we perceive it right now is that we don't understand cycling the system. Hey, we've gotten the understanding of cycles. We've even produced things that can last a long time and generate free energy. But we don't have perpetual energy because our source will eventually become corrupt. So what that means is the corruption part is how we don't do very well in perpetuality. This is why people are running around, oh, that motherfucker is fat. He's so corrupt. Well, can't wait till something corrupt happens to you, bitch. How about a little corruption in your world, motherfucker? Because I'm straight up punk.
You're drinking, ain't you?
Nah.
Or you are?
Drinking, I ain't drinking. Coca-Cola.
Yeah. I think that's fine to do James Anderson.
Why?
That's like really it's do.
What did I do to James Anderson?
Okay, on Facebook.
Okay. He's up there bloody bopping, and it was spiritual. He had a bunch of people up there too, and they were doing you're in a special kind of room, haze group.
What?
You don't know because you're clueless? What is a haze group?
They hurt somebody.
Did you hear what I said? Are you deaf?
I said they hurt somebody.
Okay. They hurt somebody. Yeah, they're hazing people. You know what a haze group really is? When these little fake psyop groups, medical groups, hazers, and criminals intertangled into the militaries and the community and all these who knows what mentality all over that are actually falsifying who people really are. If they can't produce their fucking evidence, then they're gonna get their ass fucking killed, because I'm not gonna tolerate their faggoty nigger shit. If I can get up and kill a motherfucker because I told him to leave me the fuck alone, then that means I'm gonna get up and fucking kill your ass. I don't care about fucking faggots. Motherfucker's a child molester probably too. Sick bitch.
guess I get off the phone now.
No, you can talk to me. Don't defend James Henderson.
I have to defend him. I was just telling you shouldn't have put it on Facebook.
Don't defend any. You shouldn't defend a lot of people, honestly.
Yeah, my cigarettes or my Yoo-Hoo's got something in it. It's all over my mouth. I just opened it.
Gary, the world is potentially going to a bad place, okay? And that
Okay, so it doesn't matter if I say food or not, does it?
people are fully committed to disobeying the motherfucking law, and that's the problem with everything.
Come get your poison.
What poison?
Your, urine. Your money.
Hold on, actually. Give me a few minutes. Let me sit for a minute. Talk to me.
I'm tired of you yelling and talking loud.
I'm tired of you telling me what to do when it comes to, like, judging people, because, Karen, if you defend a criminal, then they will honestly turn their crime on you.
Whenever I'm trying to keep you out of jail, too.
We see it time and time again. Criminals, honestly, when they're hell-bent criminals, they honestly don't care who they fuck with or who they hurt. Or what they do.
Okay.
A criminal doesn't care about hurting people, Karen. They've lost the ability to care. Don't defend that shit. Don't quit defending people as if you're an empath and you have a big heart and you care about them. Honestly, you don't know what they're trying to do. Listen, it don't matter. You could maybe change their life, but the problem is they don't want to listen.
Okay. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just saying.
You give them every answer to the rest of their existence, which is geometrical vectors, and they still won't do anything about that.
Geometrical vectors.
That's the reason for everything. It is geometrical vectors. I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
Well, God made that too.
No, God didn't make a fucking thing. That's what your problem is. You believe in God. You're empathic.
No, I'm not. It's my only hope.
That isn't your only hope. Honestly, it isn't. You could be lied to about a lot of things. Honestly, you don't know what the real truth is. At this point, no, you don't. Because they don't do their geometrical vectors in the matrix of anything very well. They honestly don't know that even light waves, but they told everyone that it does.
You said it what?
I said they don't even know if light actually waves, but they told everyone it does based on a physical assumption that wasn't accurate. Okay?
Yeah.
When are you going to accept what I'm telling you instead of being in denial? It's simply geometry. You cannot find any evidence on this earth that shows that light is actually waving as a particle.
Well, they killed my mom and dad and my mother.
Guess what? If it isn't a particle, you know what it is? It's absolutely nothing. It doesn't exist, and you're trapped in the
Yeah,
matrix.
you're always talking about Satan.
You're not listening. You're trying to talk over me.
I just want to say it while it was on my brain.
Don't do that. I don't give a fuck if you want to say it. It's rude for you to do that. It gets on my nerves.
Okay,
You don't talk over somebody when they're talking, and most of the time you try to do that, and you're also wrong. You're wrong about what you thought. You try to talk over me, you piss me off while I'm talking and explaining to you something, then you basically talk over me because you can't hold your own thoughts because you're obviously having memory problems. You can't hold your memories, and you get anxious and you talk and you want to shout it out for unknown reasons that might also pertain to other reasons.
That's what I forget.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Get off of the drugs. Because guess what? They're memory erasers. They're body erasers. We have discovered that they lie about every fucking chemical they give you from the doctor's office.
I know.
It's a fact. Every single thing I've ever been on fucked me up in some way.
Yeah.
They were all erroneous drugs created by fiction and liars.
I'm gonna have to sue Cresta. I can't take this shit.
You've got to realize
it. Court ordered it, you don't take it. You have a court order, you don't take it.
These people are all I've learned that the whole world is obsessive compulsive, and they don't have any valid reasons.
She wants me to talk.
There are no valid reasons for the obsessive compulsiveness of this world at all. These people are being pushed in their brain to do all kinds of things inside their brain. They have become so overproducing and forced that they have every condition, and it all results in every condition. One condition is pushed beyond its limit, and the whole brain starts creating all the conditions that takes it to the limit. Okay? When you're angry, you're acting stupid. And when you're being pushed to be angry, you're also out of balance. When you start getting out of balance, your mind starts doing things that it shouldn't do. Then you start doing things that you regret, like taking drugs or drinking alcohol or eating too much food. Because then you become depressed because of what you decided to do because you were angry. And then you do all this shit and it starts to snowball. It's called the mental snowball. And then you're constantly fighting your guilt. So therefore you become obsessive compulsive to the point that you might do even more damage or create more problems, and then more people start acting this way. And then it becomes a chain reaction. This is what it is. It's entirely a chain reaction. And then it just keeps snowballing all around you until your whole world is fucking at war and dead.
And that's how you are.
No, I am trying to solve this problem. I'm trying to get to the direct fact. That is the root. Yes, geometrical vectors and the fact that they don't produce this correctly in the human body because they don't have the ability to measure that deep of an x-ray, basically. I'm going to get to that point. They cannot relay how something moves through the body because of the quantity of data that happens in 1 second. Okay? It's very difficult to direct an undirectable vector of energy to relay an identity of an object by bouncing off of it magnetically into a sensor when it can go in any direction and or a straight line that doesn't actually collect because it is unknown where the direct vector is. Okay? It's a thing in physics that they originally created called the uncertainty principle. And this principle kind of goes over all things that you cannot see or that you cannot measure with a device that enables you to make a grasp around an object that moves at a high rate of speed. Okay? Anytime you try to move something, try to measure something that's moving at the fucking speed of light, you're honestly a crazy man. Like, honestly, initially, quantum physics is fucking crazy. It is insane to be a quantum physicist. Quantum physicists are the loopiest, craziest motherfuckers that ever existed. Okay? They were the original schizophrenics. Why? Because they knew the truth. They were smarter than everybody else.
I see that on YouTube.
No, physicists are smarter than everybody else. It's that simple.
Okay. Listen. I forget what I was going to say. Never mind. Do you want to wait for some more o'clock? It's getting late.
Yeah, it's 1:07 a.m. You're right. Yeah, huh? Let me come over.
Are you gonna be loud?
No, I want you to make me a cup of coffee.
Okay, I will now. Are
open my coffee?
You open it.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey,
Hello.
I was reading your fat joke.
Fat joke?
Yeah, it's a fat joke.
What do you mean? I didn't tell a fat. See that last text message I sent you?
No.
Look at it real quick.
Why?
Good, I need you to help you grow.
Hello.
Look at it right now. I know it's exhausting.
Yeah, especially these buttons are exhausting.
Okay, we'll do it anyway.
I can't read it because I need my glasses on.
Oh, we'll put your glasses on.
Yeah, I read it.
You see what it says? Read it to me.
We're not living in an empathic environment because it likes,
It what?
takes, criminals, steals, sucks and stupid.
Arms and stupid.
Yeah.
Which means that everybody is secretly doing something you don't know about for either good or evil and or both purposes. Which means they don't tell you all of their business because it takes a long time to inform you on who and what they are doing.
Well, I think it's because we were taught that all the way up to 7th grade.
You were
8th
taught.
grade, 9th grade, 10th
Well,
grade.
the whole system has given people too much privacy, if you will. So, like, a whole combination of law occurs in a community setting where people come with all sorts of attributes and properties to what we know in our current world, like all the things that exist, and all the things that we do, and all the things that we are, and all the things that we say, it all becomes a part of the law, you see. And it's a learning experience about how human behavior is like, how what it is and what it scientifically shows, what we can witness of it. So what that means is that there are some geniuses around here that are putting together these little systems and these communities and these things and these laws and these ideas. I don't know how organized they really are, because if they're blatantly organized, you know what happens to them? They get shut down because we detest against them.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've lied to you and hidden the real reason that they're operating behind the scenes that you're not aware of. CMHC was actually over there negotiating massive cover-ups against its clientele.
You heard that?
No, I knew about it. I found out. I got information from Jill and all them.
Yeah.
They were actually talking about deeper science, and they sit and they have meetings, and they basically sit and cover up their daily agenda.
Yeah.
Because you know why? The law expects you to compete with them. You're in competition with CMHC. Did you know that legally? It's an unspoken law that you're in competition with everyone you meet.
Yeah.
It is. It's a part of the law. You're in competition. These people are potentially either here to help you or to become your adversaries.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Yes, that is obvious. It's what you need to recognize, is that you need to stop being an empath. Like, it's not an empathic environment where these people are trustable, that any one of these people are going to help you or make sure that, everything's right in your life? Because they won't. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to invest in you, even though they don't have any love in their heart, Karen. They don't want to see happy. Dude, the most grandest money of all is survival. If you can get someone to help you survive and you can love that person and you can teach them how to survive and teach them how to fight evil and teach them how to save themselves and save other people, there's no greater money. That's all about what money is really for.
I've been doing it all my life.
Money is nothing but for survival. The only other thing is entertainment. But once you start learning how survival works, maybe survival becomes entertainment. You gotta learn how survival becomes your new entertainment. How you take care of yourself, how you take care of things legally, how you take care of prosperity. And then entertainment comes with the things that make you feel good, make you happy, things that you could ever want to dream about or whatever.
Yeah.
We take prosperity to the highest of concerns. A lot of us do.
I don't.
See, that's your problem. You don't take prosperity to the highest of your concern.
That's not the highest. 10 more things is for what?
You're too nonchalant.
Keep me alive.
You're an empathic, nonchalant butterfly.
I'm not nonchalant.
Who has always...
I do care.
You care, of course you do. Yes, you do. But many times you're floating like you don't see the prospect all around you in a much deeper state.
Well, was it not ingrained in me like it is in you?
You're right, and I'm trying to help open that up in you a little bit.
I think you've been acting weird.
Can it cause... I'm not... you can say I've been acting weird. You know why? Because
I don't know why.
I have a special gift.
What's that?
I know when somebody's acting weird. You know exactly what their problem is. I know a lot of things. I'm very observant.
Yeah.
Okay? No one will believe what I'm telling them. Why? They just can't fathom that somebody has this much information about life.
Yeah.
Okay? It's real simple. It comes down to geometrical vectors. It's everything that occurs within all of our vectors. And it's a part of what we recognize about ourselves. It's what we do as humans. It's what we feel and think. And the most topological, robust sciences, basically. It doesn't get any grander than that. I mean, it's all prospect at this point, where your mind is open and you can see all of the dimensions and the attributes.
I can see the earth right now on its face.
You can be identified in many ways as any one given little tiny value or attribute or property can actually give a signal, if you pay attention to it, that signal means something very serious. On every level, every tiny detail honestly matters. Does that make sense?
Oh, because you're right.
Physics said that if you take out one of the most serious involved interactions in particle physics from our world and our universe, suddenly it will no longer exist.
I guess not.
If this system wasn't still operating under pretty well close to similar laws that it has been since it's been stable and human life has been here, as soon as you take one of these things away from the system, it will suddenly disappear.
Yeah.
We'll all die in a wind.
And they win.
And the universe destroyed us.
Yeah.
God honestly has to be the one to maintain. God and or whoever becomes that at that status.
Yeah.
They have to honestly perform some evil, sinister, holiness beyond belief, become a holy diver of the things that wouldn't make any physical sense. Dive into things beyond the scope of any kind of normal reality. Nothing like human. It'd be well beyond human. Yeah.
Are you drinking that? Coffee?
No, but I probably should make some.
That
was not poisonous coffee.
In the morning, what?
That was not poisonous coffee that I know of so far.
I ain't sleepy.
Every time I report something on Facebook, suddenly it changes.
What?
Every time I report something on Facebook, suddenly it changes, and I think that means that that somebody's helping me in this battle.
I changed it.
Or they're adhering to what I'm telling them. Things in the world, things around me, they become witnessable. Witnessably better or worse.
You mean they're commenting?
No. I'm talking about when I make a comment about something that I'm bitching about. Say, for instance,
Things get better?
what I've implied, I meant the coffee. For instance, when I discover a coffee that's putting me instantly to sleep as if I'm being drugged, and there's never going to be a reason the coffee will do that, because coffee never does that to anyone, which means they've doped the fucking coffee, and I reported on Facebook, and that means somebody read it. They stopped poisoning the coffee because the government is finding out about people doing things illegally that aren't witnessed. Which means they changed their actions. The coffee got better because I reported it to Facebook, because somebody else out there is helping me.
Yeah.
That was the implication.
Okay.
That means people get it. Speak out. People will help you. They're good and evil. You gotta play the trump card, geometrical vectors, which is all physics. Everything that ever existed and that ever will for eternity, endlessness. Okay? Endlessness. Geometrical vectors are infinite. They will never end. Ever.
Yeah.
They will die. Systems will die and then they'll restart somewhere else. It's just endless traveling with geometrical vectors. They cannot be destroyed. Ever. It's like a worm traveling through empty space.
Ain't your TV on?
What?
Do you have your TV on?
No, it is. It's on, but it's monitoring the computer. Not actual television.
I heard something.
You heard? Probably invasion of my signal. Do you know what splicing a signal means?
I know what splicing a wire is.
You splice a wire, yes. You also splice a signal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But same track.
You can splice a signal that has a wide enough bandwidth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
If the bandwidth is wide enough, you can splice it.
How do you do that?
What they do is they send what you call a embedded signal into our primary bandwidth. You can perform many functions with a wide bandwidth signal. Like, for instance, this is how a signal works. Let me explain it to you. You have two now listen up and don't fuck around, don't talk. Get your shit done. Get your magical inheritance out of your life permanently.
No, I'm inherited.
You do. You want to become filthy disease bait upon the evil, sinister, monkey alien magic. But that's not what works. Okay? Actually, humans are much greater if they get rid of the aliens that are trying to threaten them. Okay? The aliens are not, they're trying to make it difficult for you, not beneficial. They just don't get it. They're trying to do something that they don't probably understand because they're limited in their alien abilities.
Now tell me.
Now, let's get to this. Let's get to this. You have to be taught everything I do believe. Because people need to learn how to think on their own, which is geometrical vectors and the hypothesis of history. So, what you do is you take these two photons, okay? Well, they have a frequency. We know that we can measure photonic frequency with some quantum physical devices, okay? But that doesn't mean they necessarily wave. Let's put that aside. We don't care if they wave, honestly, because they still have the same frequency whether they're actually waving geometrically or not. Only thing is that changes the geometrical vectoring, whether they wave or not, based on how wide they are, how tall, or whatever. Okay? So we can't actually witness the wave itself that I've ever seen in any experiment. Now, I want to devise an experiment that enables this to occur so that you can experience it and show that it happens. But problem is, I actually did work on it, and I got some readings, but it was nothing accurate because it has to be 100% geometrically perfect in order for it to occur. Because if it isn't, it will not lead to the truth whatsoever. So anyway, you got right. Say we have two different frequencies of a signal. It's called a binary of a photon. Okay, it is a single band of one signal compared to another signal, which is called frequency modulation. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay, that means you don't even know what an FM radio is.
Yes, I do.
Okay, you do, but you don't know how it works.
It's a different band.
What does that mean?
A different wavelength. Right.
I guess, kind of, but nah, it's a different frequency, honey. Actually, you do the research, and the books don't even actually understand it correctly because they don't understand that it's actually how it physically works in a field, okay? There's actual physics, and I can lay it all out for you. It's nothing but pure geometry vector. Okay? I can show you, actually I can draw it for you right now. I can send you an image on how FM and AM and digital signals and analog signals entirely work. Okay? And it's really simple theory. All it is frequencies and or waves. Okay? But how the waves actually work is not that we're measuring the photon's wave itself. Okay, when they transmit a radio, they don't actually use the photon frequency of a radio directly. Does this make sense?
I guess.
Because the only way to ever detect this is how physics actually works. The only way to ever detect an actual photon frequency itself is through the oscillation of a very special electron. Okay, a certain kind of electron has to give rise to the frequency of the photon itself. That's the only way that can occur. However, when you're transmitting a signal from an antenna to a location, if that electron that oscillates isn't measured accurately up against the appropriate oscillator and a division of modulation compared to that oscillator that competes with the frequency of the photon itself, then it won't be able to actually measure the whole speed between a crest and a trough of a frequency, or one end of a wave portion to one end of the other side of the reverse of a wave. Okay, so what that means is, essentially, if an electron doesn't oscillate at the same frequency a photon does when it is being absorbed by an electron field, then you won't know what the photon frequency is itself. So if frequency modulations will use multiple photon frequencies in order to transmit information. And if you're only using two frequencies, say like 100 megahertz versus 101 megahertz. Okay, if you're using these two frequencies, they generate two different voltages. Each photon generates two different voltages and frequencies upon an electron, right? Well, light, any frequency they might be using, especially like gigahertz right now, they're using gigahertz frequencies, they claim. Anytime this frequency supposedly hits an electron, it's supposed to give the same frequency to the electron. Here's the problem with that. I don't know any frequency that necessarily absorbs into any object that gives the same frequency from that object back as the same frequency. Did you know that? This is why. This is why physics is a bitch. Because when I transmit a white light to anything in the room, if it was directly going to always give me white light as that frequency, then everything in the room would have no color. Why? Because when it absorbs, it has to refract back in. It goes immediately into the electron, and it shoots exactly right back out. And when it does, it sprays out a different frequency. This is because light has hit the electron field. It has become cyclic in the electron field as a magnetic particle that's not very stable. Okay, it doesn't like being in an electron that much. It may hang out if the energy permits it in the whole unified particle atomic field. It may hang out and just sit there for a while. But like most of the time, we're pretty sure that light is not a stable thing. It constantly reacts. It never stays in the same place. It only changes the frequency constantly in different objects of different color, of different molecular energy content, of different quantities of compounds. So like as light flows, everything changes the frequency of light. It's a symphony. It's a symphony of frequencies all around you. Every fucking kind of frequency is a symphony all around you. All frequencies are current. Even sound, even the littlest frequencies, even the thumping of a fart. Okay? It's nothing but frequency everywhere. So when they send a radio signal out to modulate a binary, it has to have a certain voltage at a certain wattage in a certain geometrical antenna that's able to carry that voltage frequency at the rate of the difference between the gaps between the release of two different FM frequencies upon a geometrical location within a sphere of lines multiplied in some amount of some amount of exponents of rays in a sphere at 360 degrees constantly at different distances. Okay? That's to emit radiation all around and at whatever angle physics permits light to emit at an angle from an atom. As it's being cycled through an electron field, shut the fuck up and listen. No one is allowing you to talk. It cycles the light particles as a frequency because that's how they work in our universe. They just have a frequency. We do not know exactly what causes it. Okay? So as they do that, when they hit an object, they don't sustain the same frequency unless that object permits it. If it says we will sustain this frequency, then that object says it carries that frequency. And when it does, it hits an electron, it causes the electron to raise in its orbit. When it raises in its orbit, it thus causes an atom to have that much instability, causing the whole atom, which is a whole slew of particles, basically a whole bunch of dots around the main atomic particles, which is electrons, neutrons, and protons, versus all these other little super tiny particles that are like little bees flying all around the atom that are saturated densely or so densely around the atom that interact through the atom as if it's a geometrical object, and these are bees swarming in and out of the particles. And as they do it in special geometrical vectors all around the atom, flowing, causing it to be a system. The atom is essentially a system, and as they all interact in chains and interact in products of chains, they cause the electron to light and electron and magnetic particles and gravitational particles. It's called the Standard Model. They all interact in that system. In every single atom is a slew of different varieties of chain reacting particles that make atoms what they are, uniquely of each type, causing a variety of nuclear interactions and outward atomic interactions and or electron interactions and or pretty well energy vectors.
Do they know what makes an atom?
Huh?
Do they know what makes an atom?
Yeah, supposedly it's supposed to be particles. They're not that accurate with it. It's such a physical anomaly, Karen, that it is mind-blowing to put this motherfucking puzzle entirely together as it is measurably perfect.
And mystery.
It's not entirely mystery, no. But knowing how it exactly works, we're guessing on a lot of this. However, we got a pretty good start. We can pretty well do a lot of shit right now with physics. Like, it's pretty cool what we can do. It's, like, seriously fucking cool. But knowing every little fucking particle interaction all throughout the atom of a slew of particles all around and within the atom that's completely submerged and saturated into unknown changes that might occur or vectors and how it all oscillates or moves and measuring particles that we can't even put on any type of electronic scale whatsoever, means that we're really struggling quantum physically and figuring how these particles and these subatomic particles all really work. But we know that a lot of them are probably there. They make practical sense that there is a slew of interaction going on that's exchanging either information and or particles, one or the other. Maybe it is God that does this. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure you cannot exist without becoming a voluminous particle system. Which means if you take away the volume, just think about this. Imagine a pancake that has no depth. Take one single dimension out of height, width, or depth from any object. What do you have? You have nothing. Exactly. Nothing. It cannot exist any longer. It has no depth, which means it's empty entirely. Zero depth. Anything that has a slight bit of depth actually has volume. That means it could be the thinnest, most tiniest, thinnest sheet of like the tiniest fucking thing. And it still exists because it has the tiniest depth. As soon as it becomes zero, it's nothing. There is no such thing as 1D or 2D. Nothing is ever 1D or 2D, ever. Cannot exist at all. Not even in the Matrix. Okay? There's always volume that flows through everything all over. Okay? Even if you were a brain circuit trapped in a computer in a little chip, the universe would affect you because all the energy particles all around you are flowing through you. As a circuit, it's called noise in electronics. We're all conductive of the atomic particle subatomic field everywhere. All related?
All related with particles.
Well, Einstein created a theory called the relativity. Yeah, we are. We're all related. That's probably where he came up with that.
Yeah.
It started with the periodic table of elements. It started with understanding what we were in the simplest forms. It's that simple. But we don't have all the data on the exact geometrical vectoring of all this, or geometrical matrix of all this.
They might have it, and they just don't want to tell you.
No, they specifically do not have it. It's so fucking mind-boggling. I already know how it works. It's a combination of possibilities that aren't measurable right now. It's so large it'll take, I don't know, 100,000 years to even touch.
Yeah.
100,000 years to measure with a supercomputer.
That's why I say that.
It's a mind-boggling motherfucker. It's so quantum, it's pretty well not ever going to happen. It might happen. If they start now and they protect it, they keep it going, they hire like infinite eons of human beings and aliens and everything else to do it. They allow evolution to take hold, try to survive the disasters of the earth that might come, might not. It's called the combination of interacting geometrical matrix.
Then you would stop down and take care of what you need to know.
What?
I said the English guy would come and let you know all the answers.
Yeah, I already did. I have all the answers.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You're not God.
I don't have all the truth, but as far as an answer goes, I do. This is all entirely about geometrical vectors. That's the answer, sorry. There's nothing else to answer. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's the simple form of the answer.
It's all about that.
That's the simple form of the answer. You didn't say how complicated all the answers had to be, but we could assume that you meant that I had to know everything about everything of the answer. If that's the case, then no, I don't have all of the answers. But that's the point. I don't even think God will ever have those answers. That doesn't make good sense. I didn't even know about God. Really, why does God always play into this?
Because I wanted to. Because
That's a mental disorder at best.
probably is. My mental disorder.
It's okay. You're allowed to dream, okay, but it doesn't validate.
No, I can't validate it.
Yeah, things are always going to change. And people are going, well, we don't know how far, how long, or what they're going to do after we're dead and gone, but they'll change some way or another.
I don't want to die.
Eventually.
I don't want to die at all.
We don't know. At some point, maybe matter in this part of the universe will entirely just become pure energy at some point.
Yeah.
They call that I refer to it as the blip.
And my arm.
Where you just go blip, you're gone. Something lines up, a particle rains in from the universe. They talked about that on the internet. It's called dark matter or something like that. Where certain kind of matter transmits to the universe from some other location, and it just basically causes such a violent interaction that everything just turns into pure energy.
The world's spinning.
It's like having a key to a combination lock that suddenly unlocks everything.
Yeah. Good luck. I really mean it.
Yeah.
I need the answer.
Well, Matrix maybe, it does represent a matrix. It represents reality as well. I could imagine it being true. I imagine all this being true, and then I take it in the opposite side. I can imagine all this being false. You gotta learn to have that,
I may be wrong.
You gotta learn to have that opposing viewpoint.
Yeah.
For true and false, good and evil. If people, God spoke that in the Bible. He said that certain people only had one eye for good and one eye for evil. They claimed that God put two eyes in human beings so they could both see good and evil. The reference of a cyclops.
People eater.
Huh?
Giant people eater.
Must be God.
You know that song?
Yeah.
Who's your dad?
Huh?
Who's your dad? Giant purple people eater.
Probably. No, what we understand about God, or who we are as a person, or what we intend to do, or what we would like to see, or what we need to learn that keeps us integral, or that keeps us well, or honestly, we gotta ask ourselves who we really are before we go trying to change things. And then what that means is before we ever go with any kind of alien creature, or think that there's a God, or make the choices, we need to deeply think them over before we accept what they are. You have to have what they call a hypothesis in your own mind before you really plot a plan. You're always creating a hypothesis no matter what. If you think, oh, I'm going to have a chocolate milk, this will be good. Just simply saying, I know I like chocolate milk, it's good, it has been always good, is a hypothesis. However, hypo means below the thesis of what we know as a thesis of facts. So you always assume the chocolate milk's good and that you like it, but suddenly one day it might change, and you no longer feel the same about chocolate milk, and then your hypothesis will change. Maybe I shouldn't drink this chocolate milk. Why? Something happened to it. Random accident, criminal, whatever. It's not acting or behaving the way that it used to. Suddenly it's different. Therefore, I probably don't expect this chocolate milk to be the same. When you induce an act upon a person who's expecting a different result, you are causing another person to do something. That's to make a measurement or observance. When we observe and sit and learn about how things really work on a really deep level or any kind of level, that we think that something different is happening than what should be happening because it would never make good sense. We got a lot of things to figure before we ever figure out what directly is happening in that case. That's why it's called a hypothesis, because it's a thought, it's a generic, rough, guessing measurement that doesn't lead to directly fact-based measurements, which is all about particles, atoms, and things like that. So if you chain it all up into the creature that it is most hugely measured at, it takes a long time to make these measurements, and you sit and you do it for a while. You gotta have devices to do it. They're extremely physical, and you have to prove what is happening at that given moment by knowing that you have trapped that moment in a piece of time that allows you to make an accurate measurement about what has traveled where into what and from where by who. Right? So geometrical vectors are where they all move to, where they move from, and who put them there. From what movement. We're all just moving things around from the earth, from the sun, from the universe, and it just constantly moves. These are all what particles do in varieties. Okay, they're moving their own way based on what they experience, based on the rules that allows them to move, which are 5 laws of the universe. Okay, the most principal basic words: volume, particles of division, magnetism, motion, and empty space. And this is what governs everything that we do. Right?
Right.
And this is exactly why there could be anything in the universe. Anything can exist scientifically. A scientist will tell you, hey, I'm religious. I'm religiously satanic, and I don't want to tell you what I've really experienced, what I really know, and I could scream across the sky and say, no, you are a lying sack of baloney.
Why don't you go to God there?
I'm from Ireland, and we don't permit you to obstruct our baloney bopping. And if you don't like our baloney bopping, then we're going to attack you with all the lies. Because our baloney bopping is sacred. Sacred to the man. We don't believe in God, we believe in baloney bopping. But we know something strange is definitely going on. There's definitely something weird about the baloney bopping. You won't admit to it because if you find out about it, then suddenly I won't be able to bop my baloney.
Well, I can't talk no more.
Alright.
Oh,
What are you gonna do?
sleep.
You in bed?
Yeah.
Well, will you call me when you get out of bed?
No,
Why?
I'll just sleep.
No, I'm not gonna be asleep. Call me.
Okay.
Call me when you wake up.
Yeah.
Love you, Karen.
Going to the...
Alright, good night.
Bye.